This is CBS 2 News at 8.
And right now, an earthquake shakes the Northeast, and we are still feeling aftershocks. The damage near the epicenter in New Jersey, and the cleanup efforts happening right now. And this.
I'm just sitting there waiting for the doctor, and I just kind of felt a boo, 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 boo.
People are sharing their stories, many for the first time feeling the ground beneath them shake. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois. This 4.8 magnitude quake that hit this morning was one of the largest on the East Coast in the last century. And in just the past few hours, aftershocks were reported across our area. The quake is being blamed for everything from cracks in pavement to water main breaks and more. Tonight, we have live team coverage of the impact and cleanup efforts. In Newark tonight, more than 24 people are out of their homes because of the quake. Authorities say their buildings are compromised. CBS 2's Lori Bordenaro live in Newark with the very latest. Lori.
And Maurice, that earthquake shook these three homes behind me. You can see here the extensive damage to the roofs, which are now torn apart. The residents who live here are now making arrangements to sleep elsewhere tonight. Some of them still shaken.
That's why, but very hard. This is my first time that I feel that.
Karina Cruz jolted out of bed by an unexpected earthquake. When she ran outside, her home on 7th Street in Newark had shifted. The roof now damaged.
Many different people coming and say that we're supposed to go outside because it was not safe, the house.
The two multifamily homes next door also deemed unsafe after authorities say the foundations may have shifted from the earthquake. Building inspectors marking the three homes with red stickers. Paul Carey forced to leave with his two cats.
I heard this rumbling a little bit, but I figured it was on the outside. I figured something happened on the outside.
25 adults and 3 children now searching for a place to sleep with the assistance of homeless outreach services.
I live here like for almost 10 years already, you know, and I feel nothing. I don't feel any work in New Jersey yet, you know. Only this one, very, very hard. I feel like I'm shaking, like, you know.
Neighbor Israel Yambo felt an earthquake in Puerto Rico a few years ago, but never expected one in New Jersey.
That one is 6.3. This one is 4 something, but almost the same. And then you hear like noise, like woo.
A sound that rattled nerves across the tri-state and beyond.
I thought it was an airplane. I thought I was going to die.
And thankfully, no injuries here. But again, it's not clear when or if these residents will be able to return home. We're live in Newark. Lori Bordenaro, CBS 2 News.
The quake was centered in Reddington, New Jersey, which is right along the Ramapo fault line. CBS 2's Christine Sloan spoke with people who felt the strongest tremors.
The earthquake with the epicenter here in Reddington, New Jersey, and an aftershock just 20 minutes from where we're standing, rattling a lot of nerves across New Jersey.
I was standing at the kitchen sink, and I was on the phone, and it sounded like 10 freight trains going at the same time, and I heard, it felt like the house jumped, and then I thought, what was that? And then it started to shake.
Residents in Reddington and across New Jersey feeling the earth shake just after 10:30 Friday morning.
It was almost like a big truck was going by, and we felt a rumble, and the house started shaking. But then the rumbling, after about a few seconds, got more intense.
This father having to explain to his daughter what felt like something moving his home.
These things happen, and that everybody's safe, and it's okay, and it's all part of, you know, what Earth is doing. It shifts once in a while, and things move.
Something is actually happening.
A store owner in Bernardsville shaken by the 4.8 earthquake during her Instagram live stream. In Reddington, the epicenter of the quake, a tree crashing down on Roosevelt Road right after the jolt. An emergency crews responding to dozens of gas leaks. And a little after 6 o'clock Friday night, as we were wrapping up our live shot, the earth shaking again. There it was, an aftershock, and we were standing right here on the road in Reddington. And Joan Lorenzo, thank you so much for joining us. She was just right next to us in the store, which is 258 Main. What did you hear?
I was doing my client's hair, and all of a sudden I felt that rumble again. It wasn't as bad as that first rumble, but it was definitely an aftershock.
Most of the damage in the township at this historical site, the upper portion of the grist mill built in 1760 collapsing.
This property was very important to the American Revolution. We recently secured some grants to clean up and restore this property in anticipation of the 250-year anniversary of the country. That work was completed. Now we're going to have to shift gears.
There have been no reports of injuries, but this earthquake, the strongest this area has felt in years. In Reddington, New Jersey, Christine Sloan, CBS 2 News.
And people across the city could feel the rumble of the ground. CBS 2's Dave Carlin spoke with people about what it was like.
Here in Manhattan, when the ground started to shake, some might compare it to the vibration felt here.
I was home on 57th Street. I thought it was a truck from outside.
When did you realize it was an earthquake? When did you know that?
When I got the alert.
I was just sitting there waiting for the doctor, and I just kind of felt a boom, 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 boom.
I was in the chair getting a haircut. All of a sudden, I feel the ground shaking. I thought it was the train. I had one like 10 years ago, a minor one.
Well, how did this one feel compared to that?
This one was much stronger.
Well, my girlfriend woke me up. She asked me what was happening. I felt the bed shaking, so I was like, oh, it's probably an earthquake. And then I just went right back to sleep. It's my day off, so I needed to sleep.
I just felt everything swaying, and that it was very unusual. I went back to work. I thought the train, because then when I looked at my phone, I thought the trains were not going to be running, because I thought when I saw it was an actual earthquake, I'm like, oh God, the trains are going to be an issue, and it wasn't. And, you know, everybody was doing their thing.
Everyone said, did you feel it? Did you feel it? Did you feel it? I felt everything. I felt like the building was going to come down, and I was not a ripple, nothing. You know, there was an earthquake in Queens a few years ago, and I felt that. I was in my kitchen, and I felt it was tiny, tiny, and I didn't feel this one.
Not feeling the earthquake at all? Some call that a good thing. Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
And our team coverage of the quake continues in our next half hour. You can also find updates anytime at cbsnewyork.com.